you never know. Yeah, you never know what it's going to be like. Oftentimes, you have to. Yeah, so you have to buy more to increase your chances.
We'll get halfway through they usually play 2 sets of music each night with a little set break in the middle. And we'll get halfway through the first set before we'll turn to each other and acknowledge like what type of show this is. Like it could be because they have a lot of different types of songs. I mean, they've been a band for 40 years and 30 plus years. And so they've got like hard rock songs. They've got like bluegrass type songs. They've got like more prog rock stuff. It all sounds like them because it's the same 4 guys making the music, but there's different vibes to it. And it'll be like, we'll be 3 or 4 songs in and we'll look at each other and it's like, oh, rock show tonight. All right, cool. Great. Cool. And then the vibe kind of persists,
That's awesome. So it's basically the Costco of
in a sense, with more community. I don't have quite the same community vibe when I walk into Costco.
When you talk about Costco whatever, everybody's like, "Oh, I love it." Well, then I found this thing and I went there and it was great. And every time I had to go back because I was worried they were going to be gone. But a lot of the shared things, and I'm gonna
It's the mystery. It's the lore. Their first, and I think that's really important to Phish's story. I think it's important to another band that's a favorite of mine, REM. Yeah. There's lore about how the band came together and all and the stories, and you don't necessarily know all the bits and pieces of it. And I think that it's some air of mystery, some air of a story that people can weave together.
It's like the $1.50 hot dog at Costco.
Yes.
It's the story. I'm saying, and I'm using these analogies as a compliment.
Yes.
Because
you're right. But it's the mystery, the treasure hunt, the lore. Their first album really was just a musical that has yet to be like a musical, although they've performed it 5 or 6 times total in their career.
Okay.
But the songs from it wind up getting played here and there, but in its entirety, it's only been played, a handful of times. But it's a whole story about this, mythical group of creatures called the lizards, and they have this evil ruler, and it's a ridiculous story, but it's a story.
It's a story. Yeah.
And that thread winds through kind of everything that they do, and I think that kind of it gives you something to talk about. Yes,
absolutely. I love Phish
was great. Phish was one of the first bands to have an online presence. Long before the web existed, there was a news group that was dedicated just to the fans. The band was rarely part of it, but it was fans sharing set lists and stories and like all of the things. That's great. If you can create a scenario where your fans want to talk to each other,
absolutely,
you win.
Yeah,
you win. We did that with Mac Geek Gab. It's funny. Our fans of Mac Geek Gab, they like hang out. They have Zoom calls with each other. We don't even know they're happening. It's just, but it's the community. They're hanging out. They know each other. It's like great.
That's terrific.
This is freaking amazing.
I love it, and I love the You're part of a special club, a cult.
You're definitely part of a club. Oh yeah. Yeah, when we get to Mexico, we'll see. We'll get there a little earlier than most people, but there's already some people there. I know because the online community. But over time, the resort just basically becomes taken over by Phish fans.
Makes sense.
And it's just the element, and it's a very welcoming community. You can be whoever you want. Nobody cares.
That's great. Well,
which is great.
That's terrific. I'm going to break this down and do this Costco comparison thing.
All right.
I'm fascinated by how this works. If you want to see that, come up on on X, on Twitter. Just follow me, Shannon Jean, and I'm going to do this on Friday when we release the show, and so we can kind of compare these two things. I think there's a great connection there.